What's going on, everybody? My name is CD, and today we're going to go over the perks, so the best perks for Warzone, what you should be running, and what some pros or some streamers are running as well. So in Warzone, just like any other game, there's obviously a meta, and that meta is always changing and evolving, and this makes keeping up with guns and attachments and stuff like that a little bit difficult because they are really timely. As the meta evolves, things change, but perks in Warzone don't change as often. The meta has been consistent for quite a while, and I don't really see it changing unless they actually end up changing any of these perks again. They have made some tweaks to some perks to make them a little bit better, a little more fair, so they could do that in the future. But for where they stand right now, there's definitely a perk meta, and there's definitely good and bad perks. So let's go through all of them, talk about which ones you should be running and which ones you should just forget about. So in the first perk slot, we have double time. Double time, I would say, is a good perk. It's kind of in that middle tier. There's definitely better perk ones out there. All this does just makes you quicker, which is good, I guess, if you're going for some sort of kill record. You're trying to get around as quickly as possible. But in my opinion, that's kind of what cars are for in Warzone. So that's why I think double time kind of takes a back seat and it's not necessary. Next up, EOD, and you can see I have it equipped here. So EOD, in my opinion, in the meta right now, may be the best perk one. So previously it was cold-blooded because everyone seemed like they were thermal sniping, where now I feel like nades, C4, RPGs even are kind of in the meta as well. You see a lot of people using explosives. So EOD, taking that reduced damage is huge. I mean, that could be the difference between you dying or you staying alive. So in my opinion, I think EOD is probably the best first perk to run, just kind of on any class. Next up, Scavenger, just unnecessary. You pick up ammo from dead players. You already pick up ammo from dead players in Warzone. Scavenger's not worth it. Cold-blooded, probably the second best first perk. So if you're really trying to hide, if you're really trying to use some sort of ghost kind of under the radar class, cold-blooded, definitely a good first perk. And that's really just because you can't be seen by the thermals. So there's still a lot of people using thermals, so you can hide from those thermal scopes by using cold-blooded. Next up, kill chain. So this increases your chance of finding kill streaks in supply boxes. I would say this is not worth it, not worth wasting that first perk slot just to increase your chance of finding something that you could just buy in the game already. So I would say this is not worth it. And then finally, quick fix. I did see this a little bit in multiplayer a while ago, but it's just not a viable perk one. Killing players immediately starts health regeneration. Capturing and holding objectives, not something you really do very often in Warzone. So this one kind of takes the bottom tier as well. So for perk one, you're either looking at EOD or cold-blooded. All right, perk two, so we have Restock. I do know a lot of players do like to run Restock with like stuns and C4s because every 50 seconds you can get a new one without having to actually loot it. So that is kind of nice. But again, there are some other perk twos here, and I think perk two is the main perk slot, so you really want to make sure you have one of these top perk twos. Hardline is interesting, 25% off kiosk prices for stuff, so it's a little bit cheaper. In my opinion, I don't think this is worth the perk 2 slot. And again, as we continue on, I think there's some much better perks here. Overkill is one of them, so carrying 2 primary weapons is huge. So this is definitely a perk, a class that you want to have on, so whether that be some sort of SMG sniper, AR sub, something. 2 primary weapons is huge, and then you can also get multiple loadout crates. So you could get overkill in your first one to get your 2 primary weapons, and then get another loadout crate that'll actually take over whatever perks you have. So you'll have the new loadouts perks, so you can put ghost on, whatever it may be, and you can still have those 2 weapons. So overkill may be the best perk overall over all 3, 1, 2, and 3. High alert, your vision pulses when enemies outside your view see you. I'm not sure if this would help you so much in Warzone because the map is so big, so there's probably always someone looking at you, so your screen would always be flashing and you wouldn't really know where they are. And you have so much health in Warzone, it's kind of unlikely that they're just gonna one-shot headshot you to down you immediately. So hopefully them shooting you in the back, tagging up a little bit, will alert you that someone's looking at you. So that's why I think high alert, not a necessary perk. Now, ghost is a very good perk. I would say this is the second best perk 2. So like I said earlier, I would have 1 overkill class, so I would go and get that loadout, and then if we could get another loadout drop, I would then get a ghost class to be undetectable by UAVs, heartbeat sensors, all that stuff, so you can kind of fly under the radar, do your own thing. You don't have people kind of flooding to you or third partying you or trying to flank you, anything like that. And then finally, point man, all members of your team earn more money from completed missions. Not necessary, because most games, even if you play the whole thing, you're only going to be doing maybe around 3 contracts if you're really going for them. So you're going to earn money for the contracts anyway. You're going to earn money off of the people you kill, off of looting. I think point man is kind of a waste of that second perk. All right, and on to perk 3. So we have tune up. All it does is reduce the revive time by 25%. I think that's helpful, but I think it's kind of a waste of that slot. I think you can get more bang for your buck out of the perk 3 slot than with using tune-up. Amped. Now, again, you can see I have it selected. I love amped. So being able to swap your weapons faster is a big deal, coming down to, I mean, the milliseconds that you have in a Call of Duty fight. If you do happen to be running an RPG, switching to that RPG quicker and being able to reload it faster, which amped does, is a big help. And if you're running like a SMG sniper, it's nice to be able to get that sniper out as quick as possible when you see someone from a long distance, so you can hit that shot. So amped, in my opinion, it's just nice to be able to switch those weapons faster. Shrapnel is interesting. I have seen some people use shrapnel, and this is something if you're really trying to go for those RPGs or C4 kills, you're going to be able to spawn with an extra C4 with shrapnel, and your explosive damage delays enemy health regeneration, which is kind of big. If you know someone is somewhere, you can throw a C4, delay their health regeneration, you're more than likely going to get that kill. So that kind of depends on how you want to play the class that you're using, but shrapnel may be a viable third perk. Battle Hardened. Now this is interesting because Battle Hardened is almost a must-have in multiplayer, but I think for whatever reason in Warzone, no one runs Battle Hardened. That's why stuns and flashes are actually pretty good to run as your tactical, because you're not going to see a lot of people running Battle Hardened. So you're going to be able to stun them, you're going to be able to flash them, you're going to probably be able to win that gunfight. So should you run Battle Hardened? I don't think so. I think amped, or there is another perk for the perk 3 slot that I think is a little bit better. Now this may help you maybe win a gunfight once or twice a game, but I don't know. I don't think Battle Hardened is worth it. Spotter. Now Spotter is a good perk if you're hunting for campers. If you're looking through the walls, you see a claymore, whatever it may be, it's a great perk. But more than likely, the amount of health you have in Warzone, you're not going to die by a claymore or a proximity mine. You may actually be able to hear them put it down or see it around a corner, so you don't actually need that spotter perk. I think it's helpful, kind of like tune-up, but I don't think it's necessary, and I don't think it's worth taking up that perk 3 spot. And finally, Tracker. So Tracker I actually do enjoy using. Now more recently I've been using amped, but I think Tracker is an interesting perk to use as well, because you can actually, like it says, track the enemy's footsteps. So if you're chasing somebody down through a confusing building, you can actually see where they went, or if you start to see multiple tracks, you know that there's more than one person there. There is kind of a small use for it in those couple situations, but I do think it's helpful, and it is something that if you're interested to try and mess around, maybe you put that on your Ghost class if you don't really mind the slower weapon swapping. So overall, perk 3, I think amped, probably the best perk, Tracker, and then Shrapnel. Those are the 3 I would say to go with. So personally, on most of my classes, I have it set up something like this class right here, EOD, Overkill, Amp, and then I have a separate Ghost class, which like I said, I'll get later on in the game at the second loadout drop, that looks something like this, Cold-Blooded, Ghost, Amped. That way, once we're getting more towards the end game with that second loadout, I can be a little bit sneakier, make sure that I'm getting on the flank and I'm not getting flanked, or I'm not getting viewed by the UAVs or thermals, whatever it may be. You got to kind of be aware that it could be a funky zone with snipers, so you just never know. But these are my opinions, I guess, on the perks in Warzone. If you guys have any comments or any interesting perks you've been running, put them in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. If you have enjoyed it, click that like button down below. Sub if you guys have not already. We literally just hit 1K subs today, so be on the lookout for more videos coming soon. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you guys later.